What's up? I'm Conyer, and this is a lightsaber. In the Minecraft sense, it's a pretty standard melee weapon. I mean, I can do a bunch of damage with it, and like any lightsaber should, whenever I'm not holding it in my hand, it retracts. No, this isn't a mod, and it's not even a data pack, it's just a resource pack. I have figured out a way to make items that change their appearance based on whether or not you are actively holding them. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, is this a brand new feature? Is this something they added to the new snapshot that they didn't tell anybody about? And the answer to that question is yes, it is. This is the potato snapshot. Now, for those who weren't aware, this year's April Fool's snapshot was to make everything in the game poisonous potato themed, because apparently poisonous potatoes were not receiving enough love before. Now, this supposed joke update actually had a ridiculous amount of content. They even added an entire new dimension, but the one thing that caught my eye the most out of everything was this item right here. If I look at it in my inventory, it actually changes what it looks like based on whether or not my mouse is over it. And it does the same thing when I'm selecting it in my hotbar. This was something I thought was completely impossible in the regular game, so I figured they must have added something to the code. And so I decided to do a little bit of data mining. I looked in the resource pack, and this is the model for that item, the poisonous potato plant. Normally, it has the same model as the regular poisonous potato, but it also has an override that can actually detect if it's being hovered over. And if it is, then it changes to this other model over here. And that other model is the texture of the potato with the glasses. So of course, my next thought was, how can I hijack this? And here we go. We've got lightsabers. The lightsaber also uses the exact same mechanism where if I mouse over it in the inventory, it also changes its model. So this predicate doesn't seem to see any difference between mousing in the inventory and selecting it in your hotbar. So when I found this, I was very excited. I thought, oh my gosh, they're adding a new functionality to resource packs. I want to go see if this is in the latest snapshot. Well, lo and behold, it is not. It's only in the potato snapshot. There has been another snapshot since then, and none of this functionality is present. And here's how I know. In order to get one of these lightsabers, the command is pretty simple. All I have to do is give myself a netherite sword, and then there's two components on it that are required. First, I need the custom model data, and in this case it's 1 because I wanted it to be easy to remember, and then you have to add one more component, which is hovered, and set that to 1B. So if I give this to myself, it'll give me a netherite sword that is just the lightsaber. Now this hovered component is very interesting, and it's seemingly very important. It seems to be the case that items cannot detect hovering unless they have this component. And by the way, I discovered this by just grabbing the data of that poisonous potato plant item. So being so excited about the addition of this new component, I decided to actually boot up the latest snapshot that came out after the potato snapshot and see if it had been added to the game. It hadn't. For some reason, this only exists in this joke April Fool's snapshot. Now I know, it's a very common complaint that Mojang puts way too much effort into their April Fool's updates because, you know, we get so much new content in these joke snapshots and then the actual releases seem to be very light on content in comparison. Now, I understand why people are saying this, but I would like to try and demonstrate a little bit why that might be the case. I'm going to throw the lightsaber on the ground, and look at that, it's a retracted lightsaber. It behaves correctly. I'm not mousing over it, obviously, because it's just an item on the ground, so it's behaving as expected. I'm going to mouse over it, exit out of the inventory, and throw it on the ground. Oh, and look, it's an extended lightsaber. This release is incredibly buggy. It's very easy to add new features to the game, but what's maybe 10 times harder is adding features to the game that are stable. I guarantee that almost every single one of these new potato features that's been added has some sort of bug associated with it. And if this was going to be an actual release, the debugging cycle would probably take months upon months. So if you're wondering why they're able to just dump so much content into an April Fool's snapshot, well, that's why. They don't really care if it's buggy. But anyway, back to the topic of lightsabers. These amazing lightsaber models were created by my good friend Corrupted, who is really good at this art, texture, modeling kind of business. I've gone ahead and linked his channel down in the description. If you want to go check out more of what he's got going on, then please feel free to do so. And I've also left this resource pack down in the description below. The command to get the lightsaber is exactly what I showed earlier. It is this. And in all honesty, I do pretend to be a little bit upset that this is only available in the potato snapshot, but given Mojang's track record, I wouldn't be surprised if this actually makes it into the game sometime soon. Remember last year's April Fool's snapshot when they introduced the scale attribute? Yeah, that ended up making it into the game as well. So I've got high hopes for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Conyer. I'll see you all later, my dudes. Oh, and speaking of that outro clip, they added a whole bunch of other cool stuff in this snapshot as well, and I'm sure I haven't found all of it, but I have found one thing. You can actually change the sound that food makes when you're eating it. Okay, for real, thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.